Theo Dorgan. So, Theo Dorgan.
I wish I had such a gift for brevity, but I haven't. A short speech from a Corkman would be a very rare thing, Billy. I have two words in my mind here tonight, and helpfully for those of you taking notes, they both start with the letter A. Affection and admiration.
Bravo.
Everybody here who knows Billy knows what a sweet and good soul he is. And half the reason I agreed to do this was so that I can say in public what all of us feel. He's one of the few truly good men that we've met in this life. Yeah. Billy, you have lit up all our lives after that. I know this stuff on the walls here. Well, do you know what I'd love to bring in here? And I didn't say anything, but he asked him if there was a painter he'd like to go on a long walk with, and he said he had the correct answer, Van Gogh. And can you imagine the conversation? Because there were two of those walking from Allihies to Castletown there. If you had a recording of that, you'd have half of human life written out for you. Billy, as you know, has had a colourful life. I thought a little bit of understatement goes astray. But colour, I don't know of a painter learned with such courage for colour. And we live in dark times, we all know that, it's getting dark outside the window. And we live in times when we're increasingly atomized and cut away from each other. And we've learned to mistrust our own judgment. We've learned to mistrust, above all, our own feelings, and especially when it comes to art, poetry, music. And so many people making work now have lost faith in their own feelings. We're beset by irony on every side. So that a poem or a song or a painting that comes straight from the heart, straight from the body of the artist, is as valuable as it has become rare. One of the things I have always thoroughly admired in Billy is the sheer raw energy of the making. The brush marks, the sign, the hallmark and signature of the human presence. You know that a man or a woman, but a human being made these. They're not made of a formula. They're a language, all of their own. And Billy has his own absolutely unique language, as we all know. But why do they work? These crowds of human clowns, partly because we're all clowns. We're smiling, but we know that there's sorrow at the heart of things too. And what makes the clown such a powerful emblematic figure is the way the clown embodies both the sorrow and the joy of it, the sheer human there-ness of the painter making the work and of us looking at and living with it. And you know, Billy's clowns are very particular clowns. And if you ask him why he paints clowns, he'll give you a really philosophically profound answer. He'll tell you, I like clowns. And you know, that's enough. You don't need any art historical background to understand it. You don't need theories of representation and the anguish of the human soul. You just have to like clowns. And all of Billy's clowns are a bit melancholy, but they're always in crowds, they're always together. And Billy's is a full world, it's a populated world. It's not for nothing that the only blank faces in this whole exhibition are the three judges in that painting. Blank-faced judges. What every real artist knows, and Billy knows, is nobody knows what will be kept. You spend your life making work, you hope it's reaching people, you hope it's touching people, but there is no guarantee that. There is not, to the best of my knowledge, an academic thesis on Billy Griffin's work. There will be. But I don't know that it'll be really needed. I don't know that it does anything for us. Every one of us can stand in front of these paintings. And you can stand in front of them, as the poet Keane said to me earlier. You can stand in front any amount of time and you will be engrossed. Engrossed means made larger. your attention, your perception, your feeling for human life will be increased. Partly because of the demands that the work make on us, but also because these are paintings to like. The way Billy likes clowns. But behind like is, I find something like me in this. And the best painting, and this is some of the best painting ever produced in art, the best painting speaks like to like. Something in it calls you and tells you you're not alone, that the world is various and other than you might have thought it was, but it's there. It's the there-ness of it. I've known Billy's work for many years, and I'm familiar with these figures, these crucified Judas and the melancholy clown and all of those figures. And indeed, the survivors, the wreckage of the Spanish Armada, who for some peculiar reason, something to do with the geography of alleys, they keep popping up. The ghosts of the Armada, Billy, that's what I see. That'll end up as a title, I guarantee. It's a difficult title. But I'm fascinated by these two magnificent landscapes here. These are new to me. I haven't seen Billy paint like this before. And two things about them will strike you straight away. They are unpopulated. And they're strange and they're wild. This sense here in the central painting under the bust here, that what you only get in West Cork, we say in Ireland that you get 4 seasons in a day. In alleys you get 4 seasons all at the same time. And somehow, and it is simply magic, Billy has managed to capture that. This was a Sinn Féin court once. This building was built for the Dublin Society of Artists back in the 1800s, the 1700s, late 18th century. It was the headquarters of the Dublin Fire Brigade. Daniel O'Connell was granted the freedom of the city here. It has been through so many metamorphoses. And here tonight, we're looking at metamorphosis in action. These look flat and still on the wall, but they're always moving, in both senses of movement. They move us, but they're also never still, because every time you look at a painting, it's a conversation. And it's a two-way conversation between the painting and you. And what a conversation you have with Billy Griffin's work. It's as mad as he is. It's as large-hearted as he is. It's as various. The variousness of things is the only thing that keeps us getting up every morning. The constant fascination of the world. And these paintings fascinate. You don't need the language of art criticism to appreciate it. In fact, they resist it, because there's literally nothing like this anywhere. But the artistry, the brushwork, the concentration, the sense of colour, the massing of colour and form, any artist could be proud of. But any artist isn't Billy Griffin, because this is his world. And one of the most marvellous things of being able to see all of these things together in one place is that it opens a door for us into the world of Billy Griffin. Now, some of you are of a timid disposition and might not be well fitted for the world of Billy Griffin, but actually, he's a total pussycat. There's great comfort in these paintings. It might seem an odd word. There's a comfort in them. You know, you feel at home. In terms of that word, heimlich, isn't that it, Mark? You know, a lot of art now is unheimlich. This is home. You look at, you live with, very importantly, because artists have to make a living. You live with, which is a simple process, by you just buy them. You live with these works, and every day you pass by, a little smile will start on your face. You'll feel that much more at home in the world. It's not a common everyday world, it's Billy Griffin's world. But Billy's is our world too, and that's what art is about. To amplify us, to make us feel at home and challenged, all at the same time. I'm going on, Billy, because I'm trying to mortify you. Because I know that you say, sure, look, I just did it. But then that's what Van Gogh said. What do you think Van Gogh would say if somebody came up and said, geez, I love that painting. Yeah, but tomorrow I'll paint a better one. That's Billy. That's why he's still hale and hearty, still with us. When you meet the work of a real artist, there's only one correct and proper attitude: gratitude. Be grateful for what this artist has given us. I have been grateful for Billy and for Billy's work for very many years. Those of you who are meeting this work for the first time will be trying to process it all and ask yourself in 48 hours time, how did I feel looking at this? That's all. How did I feel? We've been trained now in the digital world to distinguish between thought and feeling. It's an absolutely absurd distinction. Feeling is intelligence. And that's Billy's great gift. You cannot stand unmoved, cynical, skeptical, or doubtful in front of one of these paintings. You look at them and you feel, it ain't my world, but now it is. I'm at home. So Billy, thank you for bringing us home to these paintings. Thank you for bringing these paintings home to themselves. And thank you for all the work, all down through the years. We have every reason to be properly and profoundly grateful to you. You have made our lives so much richer than we might have imagined. Why? Because you trusted your own imagination. And you never stop working. May you never stop working.
It's unusual for me because it's very thinly painted. I usually paint with heavier in pastel. I started it one night after watching the news and watching the bombings and children being dragged out of buildings, and I felt so hopeless. I mean, literally, just hopeless. What? There's nothing anyone can do. And I started painting, and this is what came out of it.
Okay. So how would you describe it in terms of the contents and what's going on in the painting?
You know, it's up to the viewer. All I can give is try to show is the anguish and the hopelessness that I felt. And this is what came out. So it's hard for me to describe it. I mean, there's nothing that I can say, this is supposed to be that, or this is supposed to be that, because they're not. It's pure feeling that's gone into that.
Yes.
You know?
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. We'll have a look at this one. This is the last painting I finished before I put this exhibition together, and I was thinking of the whole situation in the US right now, and you worry a bit about democracy, and there's huge similarities with what's going on in America now to what went on in the 1930s in Germany. Picking people up off the street, you know, locking people up for no reason other than that they criticize, taking people off the airways because they criticize Trump. It's scary, and they're acting more like the essay, you know, under Hitler's Germany, and you'd worry for it. I mean, I was talking to some Yanks here the other night at the opening, and they were suggesting that perhaps I might be interested in doing an exhibition in Oklahoma, and they were art buyers, and they said they had lots of friends who were art buyers. And I said I'd be afraid, and I really would be afraid, because, you know, I worked in the Middle East. I suppose I really, if you like, was considering how dangerous this thing is and how democracy is being not just attacked, but being demolished, and it ain't good. It's not good. However, yeah. So I don't know about any other one. Anything particularly grabs your fancy?
I'll leave it up to you, Bill, completely. What ones you'd like to talk about?
I don't.
Do you want to talk about that one? No?
Okay, I'd rather not. I'd leave that for another day. I have a kind of a long-term plan for.
Sure, okay.
Oh yeah. As Theo said, in Ireland, you can get 4 seasons in one day. In Ali's, you can get all seasons at once, you know, all at the same time. And after a particularly bad storm one night, I started painting that, and I have a little river runs through where I live, and it's called the Ballydunnigan River, and I was trying to do an impression of the Nile, the way it was on the Amazon or the Orinoco, the way it was trying to flow. It was just flooding in it. I thought at one stage it might come up over the bank, but it didn't. And you know, and then the moon came out afterwards, and I kind of saw these colours, and I got them down, and I worked on it, and then worked on it again and again and again, and then ultimately it reached that conclusion, and I'm pleased with it, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. So I called it United Colours of Ali's, and yeah.
I remember when we were chatting before, Bill, you mentioned that when you start a painting, very often you actually don't know what the subject matter is going to be. Or is that almost
99% of the time?
Really?
But not with this one. I like, these are the impression of the mountains that are behind where I live, and there's one area, just only one area, where there are trees that were planted by an American, and after that particular storm, there was so much salt came in. All the trees were dead the following day. Every tree around, almost every tree in the area was dead. But amazingly, they came back. And some of them came back even stronger than what they were. So maybe there's a metaphor in that for life. I don't know. But yeah, it kind of worked for me after that, you know. And yeah, it worked. It came. It hovered about for a while, and I thought it was finished, and then I looked at it one day, and I had a right attack at it, and I knew it was finished. You see, it's kind of like when the painting isn't finished, it'll still try to talk to you, and when it goes silent on you, when you hear nothing, and you look at it and you think, no, there's not much more I can do to that would improve it. Then it tells you to feck off and leave me alone. And
But am I right that you'd work on a number of paintings at the same time?
I could have anything up to 10,
Would you?
12 maybe.
Yeah. And what possesses you to kind of gravitate towards one as against the other?
It's often the amount of paint I've left on my hand after working in one part. I have a load of paint on the other one. I'm not going to wipe it off. I'm going to get it onto another one. I can paint on every finger. And so I go somewhere where I think I could use up some of that on the next one. And the one what makes me go to the first one, I don't know. There was some one, might have been the one I was working on last night, but it might have been the first thing I saw as I came in the door.
Okay.
So there's no planned. They're not really planned at all, to be honest with you. None of these, no, I think. Or this one. I kind of planned this one. I planned this one because it was, again, it was the American thing. You know, I called it 1898, I think, and it was a year of, you know, more immigration from Ireland as usual, and I tried to envisage what it must have been like for people getting off these sailing ships and going through the immigration and customs in America at Ellis Island, and you know, it evolved, and this is what I ended up with. I'm pleased with it. Yeah. I suppose I'm pleased with all of them. I wouldn't have them hanging there if I wasn't. You know, Matisse said, all an artist can do is produce the work and hang it on a wall somewhere and hope to God it works for other people as well.